Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, August 18th. We're looking at the last 2 days of the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And basically, we ended up with an outside day up, but we've been doing the last 7 days. The market got too long right away in A, and absolutely flushed out viciously to shake out weak overnight longs, A longs, and then shorts piling on, only to see them get punched in the face just like the last bunch of days also, when they couldn't get any more extension. D takes out C's high, fill the single prints, and then we spend 3-4 hours right around the all-time high. Finally get it by 2 cents in the SPY, but we have the overnight all-time high that has not been gotten. So, for my money's worth, all we did was basically the same thing over these last 6-7 days. Buyers got too long, flush out. Shorts get nothing for what they want, they get taken to the woodshed. There has not been a buyer or seller in this market for days. For days now. Volume, 34 million. It was 34.5 million yesterday with the after hours. We should beat that, but not by much. So the volume's absolutely horrific. So unless the buyers get their act together and get the next time frame in here, even though the market is taking nature's course of flushing out weak longs in the intraday over the last 7 days, we are overall long, very long, in the monthly and the weekly. So at some point, if they don't get more to the upside and get other buyers in there, we are going to get a pretty good flush out at some time pretty soon. Don't know when. I'm not going home short. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at in the overall market if they don't get the next time frame in there to support this move. Had a good day today. Didn't do a lot of trades. I did one trade after E period. Took 6 trades on the day. Made money on 5 of them. Nothing great. But, this is not my kind of trading. It seems easy that this market should be easy to trade because every time the weak longs don't get anything, they flush out. So you know when to short it, and then the shorts get to get in a hole, and then you buy it. It seems easy, and maybe it has been easy for people. These haven't been my greatest days. I've made money. The only day I didn't make money is an M period on Friday, but just not my fun days. Not my day to trade. My kind of days. All right. Took along an A period we got below the open and right above it. Took along. Made money on that. Now, B period here, I missed the best trade of the day. B took out A's low by 2 cents, but then quickly got back into it. And it was hovering back and forth through the opening and yesterday's high. And that kind of lulled me to sleep. And again, there's no excuses. I tell you right out that I made a horrible trade or I missed a trade, and I missed this one. Because then finally B came down after a couple of minutes of doing that. And I said to the room, I am going to short B if we take out A's low. We 2-ticked it, which was one time framing down, but got right back up. And I'm hesitating. And then all of a sudden B comes down and boom, flushes out. Missed the first move of it. Got to POC from yesterday. I'm like, is that all they want? No, that's not all they wanted. And I sat and watched like a fool. So what I did do, though, is take a long almost at the low of the day and I'll tell you why I took the long. For a couple of reasons. We ripped down hard. I said, if we're going to continue this, we got down to here probably within the first 10 minutes of B period. I said, if we're going to continue to rip, we're going to have a huge set of single prints. And at that point, I didn't think the market was justifying that. We had higher value. And I thought it was the same game they were playing. Yes, I missed a short, but I thought this was just weak longs and shorts piling on. So I took a small call play to begin somewhere around here, and really at B's low, I bought 100 of the 337 calls. My biggest concern was, do we get accepted into M's range from the 14th? If we do, then we're going to trade it. And I didn't think it would happen that soon. So I took the trade. I was long 20, and then added 100, and then right off the bat, went right back up, took the 100 off for a very nice gain, and then took the 40 off. Turned out to be a nice trade. But that's why I took that trade. I didn't say I'm taking a shot here. I took that trade based on the higher value, based on, are we really going to rip down to M's low from the 14th and have $2-3 worth of single prints in this type of tempo? And I thought the answer was no. And it wasn't. So it was a good trade. So what happened in C? You know how I feel. If C takes out B's low right away, I think the single print should hold longer. And it did take out B's low right away. So what I did was, as C kept coming up, I shorted it. It came back in, took them off. I didn't stay married to any. Got to yesterday's low, did the same thing. And I did that a couple of times, and it worked out well. Then D period started. And I told the room, if D takes out C's high, those single prints are gone. And that's what it did. And I got long. So I got long to 337 calls again, wrote them up, filled the singles, got out. So that was another good trade. Now, I told the room this. We called the market well today. I said, if we take out B's high, we're going to the highs again. I said, if the sellers hold B's high and get back below the opening and yesterday's high, then we have a chance. Maybe that's all they wanted to do, and I actually thought that was going to be what they wanted to do, and I thought we would trade inside range for a while. I thought we would. So I took a short in E. Didn't do much. Just sat there, waited till F, and then finally F took out E's high. I said, forget it. So I lost small on that trade. We didn't get what I thought, which was to stay below the opening and yesterday's high and just play inside of here. So I lost small. No big deal. And then I watched F, G, I, and then J came. I said, well, now I'll look for an afternoon pullback low to get the high. So J, I took a short right before J took out I's low, and it actually worked. Now, I didn't get a lot out of it, and I took the 340 puts. E and J were both 340 puts. I made something on it, had very small left. Actually, J went back up to H's high. I added, and it came back down. That added, so that made it for a nice trade. And I had like 9 left. K got up to J's high, took it off. That was it. That was my last trade, because now I'm like, well, if that's the afternoon pullback low, I'm not shorting it anymore. And I don't want to be a buyer inside of all this mess. We ended 8 wide. So my next trade was going to be, if we took out the high and the overnight high and came back in, then I would have shorted it. Well, we did take out the all-time high, but we didn't get the overnight, so I did not short it. And I did nothing in M. And I have no problem with that. Still had a decent day. And that's that. We move on to tomorrow. Okay, destinations for tomorrow. We have 2 destinations right now for the upside for all time in the SPY. And that's 339.10, which is today's all-time high, and 339.38, which is the overnight all-time high from February 19th. Those are the only 2 destinations on the upside. For the downside, we have nothing till today's low of 336.61, so $2.03 lower than where we closed. So tomorrow should be interesting, and then we'll go over that in a minute. And then we have 335.62 daily low, 335.43 daily low, and 332.01 weekly low. So before we get to the charts real quick, it's going to be very, very important, I think, M period tomorrow. If we open below M's range tomorrow, we're going to have lower value, and we'll have nothing till today's low, depending on where the overnight low is. So that would be interesting if that happens. We can get a flush. On the flip side, if we open up inside M's range, we had an outside day up. That's positive. We'll see if the market respects that tomorrow. If we open below M's low and can't get back into M's range, well, you're going to see this flush. If, however, we're in M's range and stay accepted into it, well, then you should see the high and possibly the overnight high again. So again, your destinations are kind of far and wide apart, so you could get some really good chop early on in the day tomorrow. And then for the charts, So monthly, one time framing up for 4 months, we took out the all-time high by 2 cents. So like I said yesterday, even though it's very healthy, we have to look at this as a 7-month balance. And the balance rules apply. Are we only going to take out the all-time high by 2 cents and then roll over? We'll see. That certainly can be a possibility. Same with the weekly. Now the weekly looks a little different. We are one time framing up 7 weeks, very healthy. However, like I said, they need some help here. If we're going to get distance away from the all-time high, we need help, or we're going to start chopping away at all these weekly lows at some point. This week, last week, that week, the gap, right? You're going to see that if they don't get help sooner rather than later. And the same on the daily. For me, this is just all balance still. It's still all balance, even though we made a high. So at some point, the buyers need help. They need help. Or they're going to see themselves flush out. And then just quickly, because we've been following them, look at the triple Qs. Triple Qs out of a 2-week balance to the upside closed right off its all-time high. So that's still very healthy. And then the Russell, which was looking good, has hit a speed bump. They stopped the one-time framing up in the weekly. So now if they don't get their act together, right, then they got to look in the low high 140s to 150. So it's going to be important for them not to get out of this balance to the downside, because if you do, then you're going to be seeing between 147 and 153. I hope you had a good day trading. We had a good day. We had a pretty good day in CamelbackTrading.org's voice room, even though it was a slow day. Come check us out. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.